Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kabiru. Always a pleasure to have you joining us for our political conversations. It's the season of political transfers. It's 2025, by 2026. Every player must know where they will be. I'm here with Herman Manyora. What should we look at, Prof? If a politician wants to join Kenya Kwanza now, or join Wamunyoro's residency where Gachagua is, or even look at, the Gen Z where they are aligning together with Jimmy Wanjigi and, Willis Otieno, what should be the key, what should be the first thing they look at when it comes to alignment, when it comes to 2027?
I think self-preservation, self-interest.
Interest.
That explains why people ran away from Uhuru to UDA. Okay? The chicken are again coming home to roost. The normal trend will be people run away from Ruto to the other camp.
Okay.
And not the other way. It will be very difficult for people to run from the opposition to Ruto. So the normal trend is maintained, is the people who look at the ground and the ground is shifting and they will take cover.
There are these politicians, I think in December, who were nominated to cabinet position. Kabogo, former CS, Butai, Kagwe. Most of them expected them not to take the jobs. Most of Kenyans were thinking, if you want to have a political future, don't take this job. If anyone is wooed to joining Ruto's government now, would it be advisable?
It depends on where you come from. It depends on how hungry you are. It depends on a number of factors. It depends on your calculations. Sometimes many of them are having miscalculations because honestly, unless things change drastically, if you come from Mount Kenya region, to join Ruto is suicide, political suicide. But there are people who have reached where they have reached. They don't expect anything else.
Okay.
So if you are Kafogo and you are not going to be president, you are Mutai Kagwe, you've reached the top. Any step further than that is very difficult.
Unless the government...
So some of them have come to terms with that fact. So while it lasts, why not enjoy? Yeah, because even if you say no, what are you strategizing to become? President of Kenya? For Mutai Kagwe, it can only be the presidency. For Kafogo, it can only be the presidency. Almost all those people, Peter Kenneth, all them. So if the ambition doesn't stretch to the presidency, or they have abandoned whatever ambition they had, then they're okay to join Ruto.
There's this fear that some politicians are showing with regards to Rigathi Gachagua. The Wamunyoro residency, now everyone is talking about it, meeting different political leaders. Yes. He has called that team Sauti ya Wananchi. He had signaled coming up with a political party in January. He called it now, he said Sauti ya Wananchi. Is this the way to go when it comes to 2025, looking at 2026, coming up with a party, meeting all these people and then, releasing now?
If our Gachagua will not go for a party, he's doing very well now. He's the de facto leader of the opposition. It's not Kalonzo. He's the focal point.
How so?
He's the center of opposition in the country.
There's an
it is what he says that carries the day. The media now are waiting to hear what Gachagua is saying.
Is it in the
not Kalonzo?
Or is it in Mount Kenya only?
It's Kenya. Now it's Kenya. Now it's Kenya. Now it's Kenya. Now it's Kenya. And he's doing it very systematically. Now it's Kenya. He was in Western. And you saw. And you see what has Malala said. He's apologizing to the people. And that's the Gachagua, Mlengo ya Gachagua. He is national. He is the man around who opposition politics and opposition is organizing in this country.
Okay. So
if I were him, I would not go. A political party lowers his stature. If he remains that way, he becomes larger than life, larger than size. And he decides who becomes president. You don't need a political party for that. You can take the interest of the community in. There's a way in which you can handle the community interest. Not to burn your fingers the way they burnt their fingers with Ruto, because they didn't have an outfit. They didn't have a political party. They didn't even have an agreement with Ruto, an MOU. Smaller people like Mudavadi, Tangula, Kingi, Mutua, sat down with Ruto and signed things. The Mount Kenya people did not sign. He can handle that aspect without lowering himself to head of a political party. Political party for him is a small thing.
When will time be ripe for him to come up with a party? Because you say...
He can let other people do it.
But you're saying India iliwachoma vidole. You've just said
No, he can let
not
other
having
people.
a
No, he
party.
can let. You see, there were already many parties in Mount Kenya. They can take Democratic Party of Kibaki and channel the community through DP. You don't have to form another party.
Okay.
Just take a party like DP and let people form small parties, including Jubilee, everything, or they can take Jubilee. They don't have to form and in that process, it should be larger than that process. He should not be seen to be lowering himself to the point of forming a community party. That will not work for him, because it could only work if he was going for the presidency. But it is not in his interest, neither is it in the interest of the gamer community to go for the presidency this time, not even the running mate.
Why so?
They need to galvanize the whole country to remove Ruto. And the one and major thing they have to do is to say, no, we are giving other communities a chance.
But from what we've seen with Mount Kenya giving other communities a chance, Mount Kenya doesn't show up for other communities.
They did
as
show
much.
for Ruto. They showed up for Ruto.
With Rigathi Gachagua as deputy president.
Yes, they can do without, as a strategy.
So I'm saying they need to have someone in the presidency.
That's why I'm saying, as a strategy, he should be the one controlling everything.
But not be on the ticket.
No. He should just be the main man, controlling everything.
So from what you're saying...
Deciding how government is formed and everything. There are many ways they can do it. They have learned their lessons. I don't think, if, for example, let's take it Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka is unlikely to do to them what Ruto did to them. Okay. For many reasons. Yeah.
Then I'm asking you, does this mean Ruto would have won without Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate? If he only had Rigathi Gachagua?
Circumstances were difficult then. Because then all Raila needed to do is to get somebody from there.
Okay.
And that would have changed everything. So he needed a Kikuyu there. And Gachagua did the job. So from today, the game is different. The anger around the mountain is against Ruto. So the mountain will be happy Ruto going without caring who becomes president. But they do so in such a strategic manner. In a short while, 1 or 2 elections after that, they can take the power.
Say into Mount Kenya, if there's someone who's loved now, it's Ndindi Nyoro.
Yeah.
Do not vote against Rigathi Gachagua. He's not seemingly...
And Ndindi Nyoro is a man.
With William Ruto. His decision in 2027, whether he's the running mate of William Ruto or he's in Gachagua's camp, would it sway the Mount Kenya region?
It has to be something that is in sync with what the community is thinking. You may be very good, but if you are out of step with what the community is thinking and doing and feeling, you won't go far. But Ndindi Nyoro, that's a dangerous card. Ndindi Nyoro is a dangerous card. And then an extremely dangerous card. It depends on how he plays his game.
Is it that dangerous to gamble, be Ruto's deputy? Could he be that dangerous to sway votes?
If he deputizes Ruto,
yes,
he will kill his political career.
Things are that bad?
For the Mount Kenya, something strange has to happen. Not putting Mutahi Kagwe and Kafogo in the government. Not taking Kindiki. You see, Kindiki has not worked. One would have hoped, at the very least, Mount Kenya East. And which, between Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West, which is most hostile to Ruto now?
It's Eastern.
East.
Yes.
And that's where Kindiki comes. So it has not worked. Equally, and Ndindi Nyoro Ruto ticket will not change the situation of it will make things bad for a shining star. If I were Ndindi Nyoro, I'll stay out of 2027. Completely.
Just vie for his MP?
Yes. And just see the way things unfold. People will come for me. People will come for Ndindi Nyoro. If he doesn't soil his name in 2027. Okay. Because it's in the interest of the gamer community, if they want to remove Ruto, not to go for running mate, not to go for the presidency. That will work wonders. And for Ndindi Nyoro to deputize Ruto will be a coffin in his political, a nail in his political coffin.
When we talk about Azimio, Kalonzo is now the face of Azimio. You've said the face of opposition is Gachagua. Should they look now for Gachagua because there are talks of rebranding, there are talks of changing the name, there are talks
without Gachagua, you can't go far. Even if Raila stood, he will need Gachagua. If Ruto has to be defeated, Gachagua has to play the main role. This is how things work. It's not that he's better than the other people. It just happened that what happened to him has put him on top of everybody else. Yeah.
For many who are...
And that's why I kept saying on this show, if I were Ruto, I would not touch Gachagua. Now, listening to Gachagua speak, you can see how little he is. He's not a man you'd want in the opposition. There's a guy who said, this guy must be in and so that he can pee outside. But if he's outside,
He'll pee everywhere.
Inside, that's what Gachagua is doing. He's so lethal, Ruto must be wondering whether what he did was right. I listened to Gachagua in the past few days. That guy is lethal.
Many are expecting for him to expose more. You know, when it comes
to... no, that he should be very careful about exposure. That's the one bit that will give him trouble.
Because he talked about abduction, says there's this guy, there's this flaw, but not really talking about the details. How should he maneuver through these calls from different parts of the country that Gachagua should, it's time for him to say, this is what happened with G2G, this is what happened with...
You know, it's very difficult because you are there. And the way systems work, they make sure you are part of the dirt. You cannot join the system in January and by March, you are still who you are. You are dirty already. And they make sure you are part of it. So you have to be very careful with what you expose.
It can come and bite you.
Like these guys who have joined Ruto from ODM.
Yeah.
John Badi, Pio and I, Ali Hassan Joe, Wycliffe Ambezo Paranya, and so on and so forth. Let me tell you, even if Raila beat an about turn and left Ruto, they will have a problem living. I'm telling you, you'll watch it.
Yeah.
They will remain with Ruto. Only one or two will commit suicide because, like Opio and I, he will look at the local politics. But the big boys will be watching him because they have been in government long enough to have soiled their names.
So they'll have to stay there.
You have to be very careful what you do. So I don't blame Gachagua. There's a limit to what he can say. Because he was part of the government.
There are talks...
He was part of the mess. And they make sure after eating, paka kauchafu kanaanguka kwa shati hapa.
There's much you can say. There's...
ukijaribu kuongea na
Azimio would rebrand. People are affiliating Azimio with Raila, Raila with Ruto. If Kalonzo Musyoka wants to stand out, how should he navigate through the terrains now of people are perceiving us as if we are in government because Raila is there?
But then he should just walk out of government. He's in government, like you say. Why can't he do something for Kenyans to believe he's out of government?
Kalonzo?
Yeah. That will be his undoing. They are still part of government.
You think he's in government?
What is it he has done to show us otherwise?
Okay.
Nothing.
So what is that thing? What is that? That's
they have to pay me as a consultant. I've given too much free advice. It's time for me to enjoy life also. Using my brains.
Talk to me then lastly about Raila Odinga. Now he's in government, people expecting AU. What next if he fails AU? What is your expectation if he comes back to the country and everyone knows he hasn't gotten AU?
There is something I was sharing with friends yesterday. I think we were at UKC, yeah. There's a friend of mine called on DT, another one, Kiseme. And I was telling them, if Raila came back and went for the presidency, he can very easily get it. But that's not what was the point of argument on that table. The point of argument was that if Raila came back and convinced Kenyans, he did to Ruto what he did to Kanu in 2002. Ile story ya Jogo kumeza tractor. And he sells the idea. And he becomes once again the attractive Raila. Somebody was saying there's Raila 1, Raila 2. So he comes back maybe as Raila 1 now, because Raila 2 is soiled. Or Raila 3, reinvented and everything. The most dangerous thing that would happen would be the gamer community, Gachagua, will find Raila a more attractive candidate. For one strong reason. that with Raila, it is a sure bet. You can't give Raila Mount Kenya votes and he loses the election. In fact, he will pick it just akitembea. The victory will be so overwhelming, even if you try to steal. It cannot work.
But there's this argument election has been his for the taking.
No, but you see, what Raila does is he wins the election. But through a number of and a series of blunders, he doesn't win convincingly. The difference between him and Kibaki was like 300,000, which was easy to manipulate. And the former head of public service, he said, the deep state will always tilt the election where they want it to go. But then it must be marginal victory that can be stolen. So Raila always has victory, but it's never a convincing victory. Forget about the numbers they give. Those are not true. Last year, Raila got about 7 million votes. Ruto got more or less the same. You can decide to say Raila had 7.5, Ruto had 6.9. But you can see them all the same figures. But if Ruto got 7 million and Raila got 10, what could Ruto have done? Nothing. So I'm saying this time, if Raila came up to stand, and people are convinced he's not playing games, he's not playing the spoiler card, the Mount Kenya people will find it better to work with Raila than Kalonzo or anybody else for that matter. Because they will be sure Ruto will go home. And that's what they want.
Getting back to the ground, finally, there's the Raila, Ruto on top, Gachagua. But you've told Ndindi Nyoro to keep out of this politics.
2027.
Is it safer for every other MCA, MP, senator to just try the independent way? Because you don't know the ground. They're not looking at these figures on the top. Is this the safest way when you're looking at where should I be in 2027?
No. Ordinarily, you have to look where you come from. If you come from Mount Kenya, for example, you are safer with whatever outfit Gachagua has. It's a sure bet. Once you get the nomination for that outfit, you are sure you are an MP. And there will be that in many other. If you are in Ukambani, surely. Trying anything against Kalonzo when he's a presidential candidate is one thing to win on a non-wiper ticket when Kalonzo is waiting to become prime cabinet something, or when he's running him to Raila. But it's quite an entirely different game. If he's on the ticket as a presidential candidate, supported by the entire country, my friend, you can't win. So, but there's going to be a set of people who will be independents, and there will be many. The Gen Zs and the millennials. Those are the ones who are going to sweep MCS. I expect almost 70% of MCS. Itachukuliwa na vijana wa Gen Z na millennials. Those are they will not need a political party. They will just be independents or small little parties, and they win. I expect about 40% of National Assembly to be Gen Z and millennials. And it's working across the world. You've seen in Europe. Yeah. A cabinet sits and kila mtu ni millennial. Hakuna mtu ako na 35 years. Yeah. Cabinet, from the prime minister to everybody. People are just 27, 28, 22. Yeah.
So that is going to be...
It will be here.
For us.
At the level of MCA and member of National Assembly, MPs, a majority are going to be millennials and Gen Zs. And those ones don't need a political party.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for tuning into that conversation. How will 2027 look like? Leave your comment down below. Until we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.